Welcome to Meet the Candidate. Today we're joined by Ken Brague of the Queen Creek USD School District. Welcome, Ken.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, professionally, I'm in medical sales. I've been doing that for over 25 years. I've lived in Arizona for about that same amount of time, and it's been great. I've loved it here. It's been a lot of fun. I have 5 children, recently widowed. My kids all graduated from the Queen Creek Unified School District. They're all Queen Creek Bulldogs. And I've been on the school board for the past 13 years, serving as president for the past 5, and it's been great. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it.
So why did you initially run for school board, and tell us a little bit about Queen Creek at that time?
So the person to blame for this is Shirley Penrod. I would go into Desert Mountain Elementary and take my kids in late to school all the time, and she saw that I was involved in parenting and in the schools, and she just said, you know, there's an opening on the board and you should apply for it. I said, oh, I don't campaign, I'm not a politician. And she's like, no, someone left, so you just need to interview, and if you do well, then you'll be on the board. And so I interviewed, and here I am. And so it's been great. Before I got on the board, I didn't really understand bonds. I didn't understand overrides, and I just wanted the schools to be open and my kids to learn something. And those were my expectations as a parent. Are they safe? Are they learning? Great. That's what I cared about. And so, I've learned a lot. I've been educated, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can bet you've been educated, right? So there's almost nothing as complicated as school finance.
Yeah.
And so during that time, you've seen tremendous growth in Queen Creek. Tell us a little bit about that and what that means for a school board.
Well, for example, when I got on the board 13 years ago, the district offices were an old strip mall. We had about 4,000 students. We currently have about 14,000 students. So the first project we had was the new district office. Then we had the bus depot. Then we started building elementary schools. So there's Faith Methodist Hospital, there's Gateway Polytechnic, there's, and it just went on and on and on. So Silver Valley, Catherine Meacham Barney, it seems like every year we're opening up a new elementary school. And then we've also, in that same time, added on significantly to Queen Creek High School. Initially, it was built to be a very small high school. Now we have 2,400 students there. We have Chrisman High, we have Eastmark High. It's been phenomenal. And one thing I'm very proud of is all those projects, as much as we've built, every single one of those projects has come in on time and on budget. So very proud of that. I'm a taxpayer, and the tax dollars are incredibly important. I don't want to waste money. I know that people are sacrificing to pay their taxes, and we don't treat that lightly.
And I think that's good to know. Out of all of that, I think one of the main takeaways right there that I just had was that you've already built more schools than most districts ever build, right? I don't think anybody has built that many schools in the past 5 years as Queen Creek has. And from looking at the demographics, it appears that we have to build quite a few more.
Yeah. And so the good news is we're done with high schools as far as the number of high schools. We still need to complete the 2 high schools, and we need to overhaul Queen Creek High. Like I said, it was built originally for about 700 students. And as I said, we now have 2,400 students, so it just needs, and it's not drastic, but it definitely needs upgrading and updating. We have to build out certain things to accommodate those not extra students, but those students that we now have. And so, it's incredibly doable, and it's exciting to be a part of it. And, the things that one of the questions I've been asked is, why don't you guys think ahead and build these things, when we need them? And it's a great question. And I can assure you, we have demographers. We look into the building permits. We know what's coming, and we do make choices based on what we know is coming. However, because of the technicalities and the policies of the law, we can't just spend money because we know we need to. We have to wait for the taxpayers to approve that money. And so we would love to build East Mark High completely out to completely finish it right from the start. But we can't do that with the bond that we have. And we'd love to build Chrisman completely from the start and just finish it. But the benefits and the negatives of the tax system is our taxes are low, and they're low because the voters have to approve everything we do. And so that's great. The frustration as an administrator is needing to build what we know is coming and not having those funds. But, that's when the community sees the need, they'll vote for it.
And so, speaking of that, we're out for bond right now.
Yes, we are.
This year, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, the district tried to go out for all of its needs for the next, I think it was decade or more than that. They've come back now. I think it was 305 million more or less last go around. Now it's like 190 million.
Yes. So 190 million is going to get us more elementary schools and finishing up East Mark High and being able to allow us to do those remodels for Queen Creek High. If we were to go for the full amount, which I believe was 305 million, that would allow us to finish Chrisman completely. But again, we're leaving it up to the voters to say, we can see that need at Chrisman isn't going to be for a few years, because it's a brand new school. So we'll let the voters in a few years decide whether or not to vote for that increase. And we're just keeping it as small as we can for now to get what we need immediately. We really do respect the taxes, the taxpayer.
And those bonds, though, so if they say yes, you don't immediately get your hands on 190 million and all the taxes at once, right?
No, we don't. So there's taxing capacity, there's bond capacity and bond authority. And so we might have the authority to get 190 million, but we don't have the capacity because tax rate can only increase so much. And this is something else we're also incredibly proud of. In the past 5 years, the tax rate for the Queen Creek resident has gone down 5%, or I want to say 10% in the past 5 years. Sorry about those numbers. But we've lowered the tax rate. And people have said, well, my taxes have gone up. Yes, because your property value has gone up. So your tax went up. But this this pie that we're calling the bond is now being shared with more and more and more people. So we each have a smaller slice that we have to pay. And so it's been very nice. And so we schedule the sale of these bonds so that we don't ask for we can only do so many projects at once. So we just do a little bit at a time, sell a little bit at a time so that the tax rate stays flat. That's our goal, to keep it flat. If it can go down, great, but we definitely do not want it to go up. And we have the track record to show we do not make it go up.
And so some of those old bonds are being paid off as well, too. So they're coming off the table. New bond comes in and replenishes some of those funds to finish out the projects?
Correct.
Good. And so I think you also touched on another point. Queen Creek served by 4 districts and, say, 3 major charters and some smaller charters as well. So we have a lot of players here in Queen Creek.
We do.
It's still the 3rd fastest growing community in the nation, and most of that seems to be families with school-aged children. So no matter what, it's going to grow fast. And so all of those are sharing in that growth. Why would somebody vote for the bond if they have kids in one of the other schools?
So it's a great question. I live basically across the street from one of the big charter schools, and all my neighbor kids, not all of them, but a lot of them go to that school. And I'm involved with them in church and things. And those kids are great kids. And I tell them, as much as I like the Queen Creek Unified School District, I want, like the Beach Boys, be true to your school. I want them to love their school and be proud of where they go to school and make it the best school ever. As a parent, I love the choice. I love that if my kid's not doing well here, I can send him over there. Love that. As an administrator, it was frustrating at first, but the competition has absolutely made us better. I believe in competition. It has. I'm very proud of the Queen Creek School Districts and how we stand up compared to the charter schools. And so it's just a driver to make us better. So why is the bond important for? I'm kind of going a circuitous route here, but the bond is important because it elevates the Queen Creek Unified District, which elevates the town, which elevates the employers. We are the biggest school district. There's a lot of other districts around us and a lot of other charter schools, but the main education system in this area is the Queen Creek Unified School District. And if we cannot have the funding and cannot maintain our standards, then that brings everything down. And we know that the charters can't make up for that. We know that we are all neighbors, we are all partners, we are all educating the kids of this district, of this town, and Mesa, the area. And, thinking about economic development and other things, these companies come in, and one of the main indicators they look at is, how's the education system? What's our workforce going to be like? When people are moving into town, they look at, how's the public schools? What's the education look like? It is a very important factor on deciding where to live and where to put your business. And I'm very proud that we have improved the scores of Queen Creek public schools. And I don't want to see anything that would jeopardize that and lower the value of my home, lower the value of this community. I love this community. It's been phenomenal for me and my kids. And, it's important to vote for the bond, whether my kids are all out of school. They all graduated from Queen Creek. I don't need to vote for it because it's not my kids. But as a property owner, as a person in the community, I absolutely need to vote for it.
And I think that's an important point, the economic development side of it. So we hear that, often as the chamber. One of the reasons the community is so desirable is that there is a strong school system, charter and public districts. And so we got to make sure we keep it that way. The kids are coming no matter what.
They're coming.
They're going somewhere.
They are.
Everybody is going to be full. And so we're going to have to prepare for them all. I think one of the things that you just mentioned, though, also is making sure that there is choice. And one of the things people look at, though, is curriculum and things like that, which goes directly to the test scores you were just talking about.
Right.
So tell us a little bit how the board sets that direction. And what about those problems that we read about all over the country? Are we having those troubles here?
So there's scary stuff. And if there's one thing I've learned, during COVID and all that, everything was so contentious and everything was so, are you vaccinated? Are you not vaccinated? Are you this? Are you that? I really looked at society and I just thought, wow, society is garbage. This is a horrible time. People are horrible. Things are horrible. And then sadly, my wife suddenly passed. And I saw how amazing people were, the people that ran to my aid, that ran to my kids and supported us. And the support from the town, from the school, from the church, from work, from everywhere. And I realized people are so good. People are so amazing. The people of Queen Creek are incredible people. And I have, there is a huge soft spot in my heart for this town and this community and how amazing they are. And so things that are happening nationally are not happening here. One of the things that people are super scared of is CRT. Yeah, it's scary to tell someone that, you're automatically guilty and you're automatically a victim because of the color of your skin. And that's probably taking it a little very basic, but that's the essential message. And I disagree with that. And it's not taught in our schools. It's not allowed to be taught in our schools. If you want to say there's certain advantages for being from a certain socioeconomic class, yeah, I'll have that discussion all day, every day. That's absolutely true. But there are advantages. And if you're talking about Common Core is one of the things, we're teaching, no, we're not. We're not allowed to teach Common Core in Arizona. It's a non-issue. Are there aspects of Common Core that may be taught? As one teacher told me last night, because a parent called her up upset about Common Core in the classroom, she told him, we use the Arizona standards of teaching. That does not include Common Core. However, if I'm teaching your child long division the way we all know it, and they're just not picking it up, I'll give them another strategy to attack that problem. And if that happens to be what Common Core teaches, so be it. But it's a strategy to help your kid. It's not a political, it's math.
Right.
And there's more than one way to do things. And so we want to teach our kids how to learn. 30% of the jobs in the next 30 years, they say, have not been invented yet. So how do we prep our students for that? We have to teach them how to learn. We have to teach them how to, they have more answers in their pocket on their phone than NASA had to launch a rocket to space. We used to have Trivial Pursuit, where if you knew a lot of stuff, you were great on game night. Now, who cares if you know it? Siri knows it. Google knows it. It's just a different world. And so if we give your kids more strategies, that's what a teacher's job is to do. How do we make your kid successful? That's my goal, is to make every kid, no matter what they decide to do in life, give them the best possible chance to be successful at what they want to do. And so that's how I see my job.
And so as a parent with kids in the district, I have 4 kids in the district still. So we're not teaching CRT. I don't have to worry about that. Common Core is not an issue.
It's illegal to teach those things in this state.
Gender identity for the little people, all of those things.
It's a parent issue, not a school issue.
And so, speaking of parent issues, so parents have rights.
Absolutely, they
do. They can
do.
come and participate.
Absolutely, they can. So, no, look, everyone on the board are parents of either current students or former students. And we absolutely love this district and want to make sure that parents have the ability to be involved. We would love more involvement from parents in the school. So that is a non-issue. Come on, let us know what your concerns are. Let us know how we can help. And please be as involved as you want to be. Now, we let the teachers teach. We don't want parents to take over the classroom. But yeah, we're good.
Very good. Anything that we haven't covered that you want to touch on?
No, I love this district. I've loved serving the kids. To me, the best thing about this school board is we are student focused. Our mission is to make these students the most important thing in the district and to set them up for success. The people on the board are not politicians, they're parents. They are concerned about the kids. It's not a stepping stone for their next political move. It is, how can I serve my children and their friends and this community so that we have the best possible district ever. And that's our goal. And I'm very proud of the fact that just a couple years ago, we were voted School Board of the Year for the state. Our superintendent was voted Superintendent of the Year for the state. We have a good thing going, knock on wood, and I'm proud of it. We have excellent staff and very smart people helping us out in this district. And it's been a joy to see it and watch it and to just honor our students. We have amazing students. And because of that, we hire amazing teachers and amazing staff because we want the best for our kids. We all want the best for our kids. So we try to get the absolute best teachers we can for your kids. We want to get the best bus driver for your kids. We want to get the best janitorial staff, the best admin, whatever it is. We want them to be the best because they're dealing with your kids. So that's about it.
Well, thank you very much for coming down. We appreciate your time. Thank you for your service for the past 13 years on the school board.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.